Makeup Butterfly 1980. Good morning. And hey, Trisha. Alright. Okay, y'all. So y'all do see what the topic is today. We're talking about money. Trisha said, what are we doing today? Money. Money. Um, since that's the topic that most people that are trying to manifest want to know about, so we're definitely going to talk about money today, okay? Um, and I have a couple of readings to do. So, I'll talk about the money manifesting on here. It's not going to be like an individual reading for anybody or like any kind of personal information. So, pretty much we'll just talk about money, okay? Some of the things that I do to manifest money. Trisha said my money has been on nothing. Yeah, it is definitely something that once you tap in, you can release the blocks around it. So money, of course, is a frequency. So we want to tap into that frequency and release any blocks or ties. Just like with love or with anything else, if your money is crossed up or if there's any negative energy around your money, then prevent money from flowing, from coming in. So I talk about using crystals and prosperity all the time, but a lot of people struggle with identifying how to actually get that going. So I do plan on looking into your specific money situation a little bit later, but just really quickly this morning I wanted to demonstrate I'm doing some prosperity work for someone, so I thought this would be a good time to kind of show you guys how I specifically do my money rituals when I'm doing work for clients. I put a hey Monica Robertson. Monica, email me at Gypsy Lynn Tarot also, because I don't have your information and I need to schedule your reading. All right, so first of all, you're gonna take a jar. If you guys have been on my website, I do make money jars, but you're gonna take a jar, making your own money jar. Okay. So you take a jar, and what you want to do is clean the inside of the jar with Palo. Um, you can use sage, but I prefer Palo for money. All right, and then you are going to take some Palo Santo oil, which not oil. This is the Palo water. It's kind of like the Florida water, and it's in a bottle like this. You can find it online or at Botanica. If you guys are having trouble finding it, contact me. I do have access to it. Palo Santo, PALOSANTO. All right, so you burn Palo and let the smoke get inside of the jar. And then you're going to also put some Palo Santo water inside of the jar. You can also take your picture and put inside of the jar as well. Okay, so you're going to put a picture of yourself, some Palo Santo water inside of the jar, and you're going to actually put some money in the jar. Now, when it comes to money, you can designate whatever amount that you want. What I do is I take a specific $5 bill and I bless it, meaning I take powders for hex breaking, and I, put the powder around the money, fold the money up, roll it up, and put it inside of there. You can also keep that particular blessed money in your wallet. It's up to you. Sometimes I will also use foreign money from different countries, like different currencies. When we go out of the country and we travel, I do collect the currency from other countries, and I will put that particular money in my money jar as well. Okay, but it doesn't matter if you put the currency for your country or another country, because it's all a frequency. So you can specifically tap into the currency of money to attract prosperity. Give me 1 second. I can't find it. Okay. Because I was like, I know it's in here. So inside of my zipper pouch, I keep my blessed money, and then I keep these little money symbols and sigils, which if anybody wants to take a screenshot of this one, they can. This one is old. Big focus. Okay. Hopefully that comes in. This one is old, but this one, I have a book of seals that I've had for like over, oh my gosh, like ever since I was maybe in my 20s. But you print out the seal on parchment paper, and then you dress it with oils. To activate it, you start from the center and you move out in a clockwise manner. So you start from the center, and then you're going to rub. You can put money oil on there. You can put anything that's going to vibrate with the frequency of money on here, and that is going to also create a magnetic pull to attract money. All right, so also inside of the money jar, you want to put some black tourmaline crystal, because that's going to remove any negative blocks around your money. You're going to put lodestones, magnetic lodestones. You want to take 2, and then there's some different resins that you can feed the lodestones. I don't put the lodestones inside of the jar though. I put the lodestones on the top of the jar, and actually I'll talk about the top of the jar separately. So another thing you can do too, again, I collect foreign money, so I have coins from different countries. Okay, so you can put for money, whether it's tokens or coins, whatever has a money vibration around it. Okay, yes, Monica, the lodestone oil is perfect. You can also put cowrie shells. Hey, Pinky Lee, cowrie shells inside as well. Because cowrie shells were used as a currency exchange. So cowrie shells, again, just my personal fave. Foreign money, okay, foreign coins, or again, I think they actually sell foreign money online, I'm not sure, but whenever we travel, again, I collect money and I just exchange it. It's very cheap, usually in comparison, because the countries I go to are more third world, like Jamaica, Haiti, and different places like that. But you get the foreign currency and you put it inside of the jar as well, or your currency for your country. Some people just can't bring themselves to do that though, because they feel like they're you know, it's just kind of weird to do things with money other than spend it. But trust me, you guys, this does work. I just did this for a client who was trying to manifest a new home, and she actually did not get her loan approved before we did the work. And so she went to a different lender after we did the money work, and it did open up the portal for her. So I definitely wanted to share this with you guys after I was talking to her over the weekend. I thought about it. Why not share it with everybody else? I do jars for people. I prefer when they're local, so that I can get their personal effects to put in it. By personal effects, I mean nail clippings, hair, different things of your that has your DNA in it. So that's why I'm giving you guys the instructions on making your own jars, because you can put your own personal effects in it. I've had a few people to mail that to me, but it's just such a sensitive situation where I prefer that you guys, you know, just learn the information. So you have your jar, you have your palo, and that's the palo to me vibrates strongly to remove something and to keep it gone. To me, sage, kind of like an antibiotic. You have to put something back in when you're doing sage, okay? With that being said, you want to use herbs that resonate with money. You can use bay leaves. I always tell people to carry roots and put roots in their jars, money jars, love jars, whatever kind of ritual work you're doing, because it's all energetic. And these curios have been used by our ancestors. So even us, before we passed away in our past lives, before we reincarnated to who we are now, we use roots and herbs. And my great grandmother taught me a lot about root work when I was a little girl. And she grew a lot of things. So you want to carry High John the Conqueror and put it in here. You want to put your St. John's wort in here. Talk about that too, for getting rid of any kind of negative ties. Those are some easy accessible roots. And herbs, they do have a lot of herbs available on Amazon now. Pagan type herbs that they didn't carry back in the day. You had to go to a botanica to get them. You can put frankincense and myrrh in here as well, and that's also used as an offering, because whenever you do these jars, you want to attract a different spirit energy that is going to preside over your jar, that's going to continue to work for you to allow you to manifest what it is that you want. For me, I do King Solomon, because King Solomon actually opens up the money energy like you wouldn't believe, and I don't hear people talking about that, but that was something that Spirit showed me years ago. Pretty much nothing that I've ever tried to manifest material wise has not gone through, whether it's been a car loan, a house loan, whatever it is, or a job, or whatever. Like it's just pretty much an energy that I've learned to tap into, so I wanted to share that with you guys. Not to sound conceited, but once you master it, it literally is a frequency that you're tapping into, and you can, tap into that channel. So with that being said, once you get everything, you put it inside of your jar. I like to put the picture of myself on the outside of the jar, honestly. I like to put the money inside. I like to put the herbs inside, the roots inside, the picture of myself on the outside. All right. And of course, you can write your intentions on the jar and then put your picture of yourself on it. So when you get to the top of the jar, the lid, and you don't have to fill the jar all the way up. It's not necessary for you to do that. Now, if you do burn a money candle and you have wax left over, you can put that wax inside of it too. But once you seal the jar, you don't want to go back in there, okay? But you do want to take the top of the jar and use that as a point of reference, because this jar is going to be like a temple almost for your money. And so the top of the jar where you're burning the candles is going to continue to increase the vibration of the frequency inside of this jar. So you can put holy water and different things like that in there, but anything that resonates or vibrates a high frequency is what's going to go inside of here. On top of the jar, this is also a good area to burn your candles, especially the ones that have the wax that drip down. What you can do on the top of the jar as well is on the inside, putting a sigil. You can draw it, you can print it out, cut it, put it on top of here, and then put your lodestones on there, and then put your candles on top of that and burn them, as often as you need them. It's just up to you. But what you definitely want to have in your life is a money magnet jar. That is manifesting money 101. Okay. So before you make this jar, you definitely want to take a physical cleanse bath, regular bath with your Dove, your Dr. Bronner's and all that. Then you want to come back and do a spiritual bath so that you can vibrate and only pull down the energy and the frequency of money that is for your highest good. You can put pyrite inside. You can put pyrites on the top. And when I'm talking about put them on the top, I just take a hot glue gun and glue them on the top. I'll show you guys what one of my jars look like that I made for myself. Give me just 1 second. It's not for money. It's I'll just show you so that you guys can get an idea of how my jars look. All right, and so the reason that I wanted to share this is so that you guys can have an idea of what the outcome looks like. The finished product is literally just like doing something in school, having a project where you get creative, okay? So this particular jar, and it has a lot going on inside. It looks really creepy because it's a skull, but it's a skull for a very specific reason. It has personal effects inside. It has candle wax. It has a big piece of selenite right there. It has other stones, herbs, petitions. It has the works. It has graveyard dirt inside. Anything that I needed to connect for the specific reason that this was made. And then the lid on the top of the jar. Uh-oh, I knew that was going to happen because it fell off recently. And I took this off recently. So I do put dry herbs and roots, hollow, different things on top of the jar. But then over time, I may go back and light candles on top of the jar. So when I light the candles, the wax sometimes, see how it's falling out? Because sometimes the wax will cause it to do that. But that's another thing you do to seal it, is to use the candle wax. So yeah, so I need to pretty much reiterate the fact that when you're doing these jars, you want to approach them with clean energy. That's the main thing. So you clean your energy. Even the setting that you're doing your work in, I have a specific well, I have 3 work areas. So I take the Palo and Florida water and clean my work area before I get started. I actually take holy water and clean my work area because it's all about the vibration. So you want that vibration to be raised up high. Jade is a good money stone as well. There's some herbs that I can't think of right now. I literally have all of my herbs in bags labeled, so I can't think of it right now. But some of them I've just used so many times that I just know exactly what to go to. But I'm trying to share that information with you guys today. So I know I'm forgetting major players, which I can always put in the comment section. But that is just pretty much a basic, let me get some money, I'm trying to manifest this jar, okay? You can put in there whatever it is that you need. If it's a loan, a specific amount. And I know you guys probably watched a live where I talked about when I manifested my first home. I was 30 and I wanted a home in this very nice area, suburban area outside of Atlanta. And I ended up getting a $200,000 house for $140,000. And I literally did the same thing that I'm telling you guys to do, and went in the car and house shopped and made a vision book, which I need to look through my old things because I want to do a post so you guys can see the picture of the house that I chose versus the house that I bought and how eerily similar they are to each other. But that is my manifesting jar tip. Just decorating the jar with anything that gives you the energy of money. Also, I add green glitter to my jar, gold glitter, and I put gold candy sprinkles in there. I started doing candy sprinkles because a lot of the spirits that I work with like candy. So it also matches. I can't show you guys my money jar because it's on my altar and it's sacred, and I don't want any influences to interfere with it. But I can say that my jar is very glittery, very shimmery, and even when I do work for clients, their money jars are very, I like the magical feel of it. So that's my tip. So hopefully this helped you guys. Like I said, I was getting ready to do some things, and I thought about it after I had a conversation over the weekend with a client. So I hope this, guys, and that's something you guys can work on. Oh my God, I have a vision board in my house and I did a petition. Do I need to put the area of the home or just a picture? Put the picture on there, because sometimes if you put the area, be restrictive. Because, okay, for those of you who know it, I wanted a home in Dunwoody. Dunwoody is very overpriced, and it's a suburban area in Atlanta that most people know about. If they know Atlanta, they know Dunwoody. So I wanted a house in Dunwoody, and the house that I wanted in Dunwoody was like, oh my God, way overpriced. It was like 250 plus thousand. So I ended up getting a picture of the house that I wanted. And I said, I'm gonna get this house regardless. What's going on? I know I need to work on my credit. I know I need to save a little bit more, but I want this house. And I was living in a townhome, had a year lease. So I was 5 months in at the time. And I took my son to the barber shop down the street from the house, from the townhouse that I was in. And the barber was just talking to me casually, and he said, oh, where do you guys live? And I said, we live down the street in Doraville. And he was like, oh, okay, that's cool. Mind you, Doraville is right next door to Dunwoody. So I said, okay, Dunwoody is where I want to be, so I'm going to get as close as I can, just renting and just put myself in that atmosphere. So that way, when I get off work, I can go looking at houses in Dunwoody and I can collect everything. I hadn't applied for a loan or anything because I knew I wasn't ready. And I was like, I know I'm going to, get it, so I'm not even going to worry about it. I tell you guys the truth. My friend and I would just make these vision books, and I would put together my jars, and I was getting out, going house shopping. You would have thought I had a loan approval, a down payment, and everything. I didn't have any of that. So I ended up picking out the house. The house had black shutters. It was cute. And I put it in my vision book. You guys, I was getting my son's haircut, and the barber said, I don't know if you're in the market for a house. I told him I lived in Doraville. I don't know if you're in the market for a house, but my mom is a realtor. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. You meet realtors all the time. So I was like, cool. I talked to her, and I had one conversation with her, and she was like, I have a friend that's a broker, and, I told and she just to me, and she just told me to talk to her friend that was a broker. I talked to him. He was like, you need to do a couple of things to get your, loan approved. He said, but I tell you what, he said, he said, don't worry about it. And I told myself, oh, I'm sorry, I had a phone call, y'all. I told myself, I'm going to just do it. I'm putting all this energy in these jars. I'm burning these candles. I got this vision board. I just felt like I had the house already. So whenever I would go to look at a house, I'm not going to lie, I would take all of the brochures out of the thing, because I was like, I'm going to buy, like, the house that I really wanted. I was like, I'm going to buy this house. So why am I leaving the brochures here for somebody else? You guys, it was the emotion that I felt. It was the faith that I had. And I told you guys in another live, buying furniture for my house. So I knew it. I was like, without a shadow of a doubt, I am going to be a homeowner. Me and my 2 children are going to have a home. They're going to have their own rooms for once, because I had been, renting 2-bedroom apartments. And I was like, I'm going to do this. And I did it. The man called me back, and he left a message for me, and I was scared to check my voicemail, but he texted me, the broker, and he was like, your loan is approved for $140,000. And I was like, what? Like, are you serious? And I didn't even have my down payment, but I was like, I'm not even gonna worry about that. He was like, well, when do you want to close? This was December. And I was like, Valentine's Day, because I'm thinking to myself, I need a little bit of that tax money so I can, use it as a down payment. Because it was like virtually impossible for me to save like I needed to, because I was a single parent, and I made a decent amount of money, but you know how kids eat up your money. So I was like, okay, I know I get my taxes on time every year, so I'm gonna take my tax check, and that'll be my down payment. You guys, when I tell you, I was like, okay, so I can't get the $200 and some $1,000 house because my loan is $140. So the realtor, I circled back around to her. She said, well, have you tried Woodstock? And I said, no. She said, because I see houses over there all the time. They're right down the street from Roswell, which is another really nice area in Atlanta. It's further out. So it's like near Alpharetta, where it's like a lot of equestrian areas and stuff. So it's further away from the city, not like Dunwoody, which is right next door to Buckhead. She was like, it's further away from the city, but you get more bang for your buck. The house that I ended up buying looks exactly like the house that was in my vision book. The only difference was the house in my vision book had black shutters. The house that I ended up buying had green shutters. So a week or two before closing, the bank calls me and said that the HOA contacted them and told them that they couldn't sell the house until they brought the color of the shutters up to code because it wasn't the color green that was approved. So I asked the lady at the bank, well, what should I do? Because I don't know what color to choose. I really like the green. Maybe I should go red. She was like, I don't want your loan to not go through. So let's go with something that's less complicated. Let's just choose black. That way, you don't have to worry about the color not being approved. And I was thinking to myself, you can always bet on black. And I went ahead and chose black. And you guys, I thought about it after I got in my house and I looked at my vision book. I said, wow, now it is the exact house because it's black shutters. And it was just amazing, you guys. I promise you guys, I'm getting chills thinking about it. But that's how strongly connected to spirit I am. And I encourage you guys to be that strongly connected to spirit as well. Literally, when I went to see the house, I just felt it immediately. I looked at several different homes. I saw this one house in Conyers that had a swimming pool and it had 4 bedrooms. It was much bigger for the $140,000 price range. But I chose the area that I was in because it was literally borderline to Roswell, which is where Shaquille O'Neal's home on MTV Cribs was. Like I could walk to his house. He sold it, but I mean, to me, I just always said it's Shaquille O'Neal's house because it's the one with the gate. You see him opening up on MTV Cribs. Me and my kids lived literally walking distance from there. The house that we ended up buying, and nobody knew about Woodstock. Woodstock was very country, you know, back in the day. It's near Canton, Georgia, so it's going further north, further away from the city. But I ended up, but it ended up growing. The town ended up growing. They ended up doing a lot of stuff. Love and hip hop would be there downtown Woodstock a lot once they built it up. So I ended up buying it for 140, and today it's worth about 250, 260 the last I checked. We sold it. I sold it before I got married, but I sold the house, and I'm talking about $60,000-$70,000 worth of equity in the house. So this was all something that spirit was guiding me to do. A seed was sown, a connection was made, a belief was established, it was fed and fueled, and I had 100% faith that I was going to get this house. Like, I can show you guys the pictures. I could probably pull up a credit. If I pull my old credit report and show you guys, I did not qualify for this house. But spiritually, I qualify because I have been planting seeds. I've been sowing seeds. I have been giving. There was a botanica that had a beautiful statue, and I would go in and I would put money and I would burn visual candles for that particular entity. And I was working with that entity for a little bit, bought a statue for that entity and everything. But once I moved into my house, I burned the statue. I burned candle in the backyard behind the statue, and it burned and it totally dissipated. So I knew at that moment that spirit only wanted to work with me to help me get my house, and it was gone. But Eshu is great. I'm so happy that this is helpful, Monica. And hey, Esmeralda. Eshu, which is the Orisha that opens the gate to the spirit world in the Yoruba tradition. Eshu will help you to remove any obstacles that are blocking you to get a home. Eshu loves peppers, rum, cigars, attention. He will manifest sometimes as like a black cat or dog. But Eshu will help you to get into the spirit world to get what you need done. His number is 3, and he likes black and he likes red. Eshu is very, very, very overprotective of me. But that is one of my key players in manifesting. So when I got the house, and I'm gonna pull some pictures up and post them. The house actually had a little red shed in the backyard. So that was Eshu's shed. So I put, all his little things in the back. Cowrie shells, rum, peppers, things for Eshu. Ganesh is also, and I'm looking back there because my Ganesh is back there. I was going to grab it, but okay. This is a smaller version of him. Right here. Ganesh will also remove obstacles for you. He's a Hindu god. He has an elephant face and a human body. So he removes blocks and opens the door to prosperity for you as well. So please, you guys, do not restrict yourself to certain belief systems. When you're trying to manifest, be open, because you want to open the portals. And I'm not saying just going out here working with any old spirits, because some deities don't like certain individuals. I can tell you guys, Our Lady of Guadalupe does not do anything for me. The candles never burn, no matter where I get them from. And even one time I put it on my Our Lady of Guadalupe candle on my outdoor altar. My wife purchased candles. She didn't know, and I told her she doesn't like me, and she was like, "What are you talking about? What do you mean she doesn't like you?" She couldn't understand it. So we put the candle of Our Lady Guadalupe on the outdoor altar. Come back outside 2 days later, the candle is literally upside down on the ground, and all the wax has mysteriously moved down. And she was like, "Oh, okay, now I see what you mean. Our Lady Guadalupe does not like you." I was like, "She don't. I told you that. She don't like me." So pretty much you want to establish connections with spirits that do work in your favor. Because I'm just going to be real with you guys. Some of the spirits that some people are praying to and believing in and giving energy to don't like them. And that's why they're not manifesting. They've been praying for the same thing for 20, 30 years, and it's just not coming through. And you have to stop and logically think, not even from a religious perspective, but from a logical perspective. If you working at the same job for 20, 30 years, you're not getting a raise, something ain't right. You know what I'm saying? You doing what you're supposed to do. You coming to work on time every day. You making a difference. You going above and beyond. You putting money in the company pocket, but you're not getting a raise even. Not to mention promotion. So if nothing is happening, there could be blocks. There are blocks. Not could be. There are blocks. So then also, are you feeding your ancestors? Are you giving them the energy that they need to give back to you? Are you just pulling? You cannot go to the ATM machine and try to withdraw $20,000 if you've only put 10 in there. So you have to give back to spirit so that you can have the energy to pull from, to withdraw from. So that's my little Easter speech today. I don't want to get too preachy, but I do feel like I see the same things over and over and over. When people are trying to manifest money, my ex said, "Well, I'm brand new to manifest." I talked to my guys, but that's it. How can I become a master manifester? It is definitely going to be repetitious. You have to do a repetitive ritual, and everything is on a frequency. So once you tap into that stream of energy, it's just out there for the grabs. It's up there to grab. So you have to make sure that you're doing the things that I was saying to remove the obstacles and the blockages. You have to have a money mindset. You cannot say, "Oh, I can't afford this," or "That's for them, not me. I want that." You have to really go hard. You have to be like, the way that you would fight for your child if you were a parent and somebody was trying to mess with your child. That's how you have to fight to get that money out of the spirit world, because It is there for you until you master manifesting it. It's there for you, but it's right there, and it'll always elude you, and it'll always be in your face like this, kind of messing with you, kind of taunting you. So what you do is you reach into that particular vortex and you grab it. How long did it take you to manifest your new home? The home that I'm in now, we moved here from Georgia. So my wife is military, stationed at the Pentagon now, but we were stationed in an area near Macon, Georgia. After I sold the home in Woodstock that I was just telling you guys about, her and I had a brand new home in South Georgia. But the energy there, we did not like the energy there. So we got a whiteboard, wrote down what we wanted. Divine Spirit told me we needed to move this way. And this was maybe June. Yeah, this was June of last year. And Spirit told us to move up here. And she was like, well, are you sure? Da, da, da. She had all these questions, and I was like, nope, we're going. So she was like, okay, cool. So I did her resume, did some of the same things that I'm telling you guys to do with the spirit money jar, and I did her resume, and she was like, well, it'll probably be 2021 or 2020 before we get there because the military moves slow. She got an interview at the end of June after I did all of her work. So maybe 2 weeks later, she had an interview. They offered her the job 2 days after the interview. We were here on a house hunting trip in July, and we moved here, I don't want to lie, was it September? Babe, when did we move up here? August or September? End of September? Okay. Yep, end of September. So, and even the military movers told us, because the military packed their house, they moved us. We didn't have to do anything. Even the military mover was like, I got your order so quick. Usually I'll get one far out. And he was like, how did y'all do that? And they were packing our stuff, and he was like, oh, I see what you do. Because he was looking at all my little curios and all of my little, witchy things, spiritual stuff. And he was like, I see what you do. So we actually had a really long talk about the ancestors and everything. And I did a reading for him, which he was blown away by. And actually, he was a Mason. And I grew up in a house with a Mason and Eastern Star. So while I don't know the secrets because I'm not initiated, I knew the culture. So we talked about it. So should I be burning unblocked candles? Yes, most definitely. So if there are blocks around your money, you definitely want to burn candles like John the Conqueror. John the Conqueror will remove blocks and obstacles. High John, they have High John, they have Low John. So I work with the High John. You can put, again, the John roots and herbs in your jar. And the incense that you burn, the powdered incense, the resins, you can put those in your jar as well because those have very strong power. But the main things are going to be High John, and going to be frankincense and myrrh. Frankincense and myrrh, when I was speaking with Spirit before, frankincense and myrrh was brought to the baby Jesus because it has a very powerful cleansing, protective, hex removal energy around it. And it's also what's used in burial rites. It was used in burial rites in ancient times. So the